Welcome to the ClearPath ePortal Developer 4.1 Capabilities demonstration. This video is part of a series of videos which explain the steps to develop different types of data sources and presentation projects in ePortal Developer for modernizing ClearPath applications. In this demonstration, we will show you how to create a web browser presentation project. To create a web browser presentation project, we should have created a data source project. In this demonstration, we will use an MCP COBOL Data Source project where the message orchestration steps are already carried out. Let's get started. We have already loaded the MCP COBOL Data Source project in the Visual Studio IDE. We will add a new Visual Studio project by selecting menu option File, Add, New Project. We will now see the Visual Studio New Project dialog box. Let's select the web project type under the ClearPath presentation node. We are creating an ASP.NET based web application. So select the project template ASP.NET Web Application. Let's name our presentation project as eBank. Leave the location to the default value and click OK. We will now see the Presentation Generation Options dialog box. This dialog provides options to control the default look and feel of controls in the web pages generated. For example, we can set the value of option Use Master Pages to True if we want to use Master Page. In this demonstration, we will accept the default settings and click OK. Now let's build a solution by selecting menu option Build, Build Solution. As we can see, during the build process, ePortal Developer generates the web pages corresponding to client messages in the data source project. We can now test this web browser presentation application. Right-click on the eBank project in the Solution Explorer and select Set a Startup Project. Then select the menu option Debug, Start Debugging. This will start the web application in debugging mode. The first page displayed in the browser is the login page. We should enter a valid user code and password on this page. For this demonstration, we will enter user code and password values as webdev. Then click the Submit button. After a successful login, we will get the home page which has links for view accounts balances and transfer funds eBank operations. Let's first click on the View Accounts Balances link. This will open a web page which displays account details like account number and account balance. Click on the Submit button to go back to the home page. Now let's click on the Transfer Funds link. This will open the Transfer Funds web page. Let's enter the fund transfer details. From account as money market, to account as interest checking, and amount as 2,000. We will leave the optional fields blank. Click the Submit button to do the fund transfer. After a successful fund transfer, a confirmation page will be displayed. Click on the Submit button to return to the home page. As we can see, once we have a data source project with message orchestration done, creating the web browser presentation application requires minimal steps. Here we have demonstrated two eBank operations and corresponding web page navigations. ePortal Developer provides capabilities to customize the web pages generated by default. For example, we can add new controls, change the style of existing control, or remove them if they're not required. Now, let's click on the Transfer Funds link again. We can rework on some of the items on this page which were generated by default. Notice that From Account field is represented using a drop-down box. This is because its corresponding COBOL definition includes level 88 definition. we can make it a radio button for easy selection. Similarly, notice the text box for recurring field. This field is intended for Boolean values. Instead of asking the user to enter true or false, we can make it a checkbox. Also notice the Submit button. We can change the label on this button to something more appropriate like Transfer. Click on the Close button to close the application. Now let's stop debugging by clicking Debug, Stop Debugging, so that we can make these changes on the pages. Also make sure that all the ASP.NET Development Server instances started by the Visual Studio to host the web application for testing are stopped by clicking Stop on them in the system tray. Now, in the ePortal message window, right-click on the client message, Bufin Transfer Funds, and click on Open Presentation. An Open Presentation Files dialog box is displayed. Just click on OK. This will open the Bufin Transfer Funds.aspx page. Now let's click on the Design tab at the bottom left corner to switch to Design View. Select the Submit button and in its Properties window, change the text field value from Submit to Transfer. Let's save the changes. In the ePortal message window, double-click on the server message Bufin Transfer Funds to open it in Editor window. Click on the From Account under Transfer Funds node. In its Properties window, change the control style from Drop-Down List to Radio Button List. Also change the initial value to Interest Checking so that the Interest Checking option will be selected by default. Now click on the Recurring node. In its Properties window, change the control style from text box to checkbox. Let's save the changes. Note that since the Auto Recreate Client Message option in Data Source project is set to true, whenever we save a server message, the corresponding client message will be automatically recreated. Now, these changes need to reflect on the corresponding web page. In the ePortal message window, right-click on the client message, Bufin Transfer Funds, and select Reconcile Presentation. Click OK on the Reconcile Presentations Files dialog box and click Yes on the next dialog boxes to confirm all the reconcile operations. Now, let's test this refined web browser presentation project by clicking Debug, Start Debugging. On the login page, we should enter a valid user code and password. For this demonstration, we are using the user code and password values as WebDev. Click the Submit button to log in. On the home page, click on the Transfer Funds link. As we can see, all the changes made are reflected on the Modified Transfer Funds page. We can enter the fund transfer details and submit the page for doing the fund transfer. This completes the demonstration. Unisys offers a comprehensive set of ClearPath services to enrich the value of your ClearPath applications, data and systems. Please contact your Unisys representative for more information.